Coming up on Citrus TV News, Remembrance Week continues on campus with a panel on terrorism. Our Ford Hatchett reporting live tonight.
And professors remember Pan Am Flight 103, the work Byrd Library is doing to remember those we lost. Our Ricky Sayer here with the details.
And Republicans storm a witness's testimony on Capitol Hill as the impeachment inquiry continues. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Power on campus is back up after some buildings briefly lost electricity. Good evening, I'm Jenna Bree.
And I'm Jack Watson in for Amber McElrath tonight. The on-campus outages include student dorms on the Mount, as well as a few buildings where classes were taking place. Citrus TV reached out to National Grid to learn what caused the outage. We have not heard back yet. And new at 6 tonight, Syracuse University is hosting a terrorism panel tonight as part of Remembrance Week. Citrus TV reporter Ford Hatchett is live at Gifford Auditorium right now. Ford?
In just a little over an hour, this Remembrance Week All-American Terrorism panel. Students will walk through these doors behind me. There'll be 4 panelists discussing domestic terrorism and its threats in America today. I spoke with Remembrance scholar Taylor Sheminsky earlier today. She thinks it'll be a real salient moment for this campus. She called it a campus with a lot of privilege. She wants to discuss different ideologies and how terrorism today in America can affect minority communities, specifically through ideologies like white supremacy, xenophobia, and how maybe the media can portray some of those incidents. Now, the panelists for tonight's event will be Lieutenant from the Syracuse Police Department, Lieutenant Brian Nowitzki, Reverend Dr. Bruce Burns from the Hops Memorial CME Church, the Executive Director of Syracuse Hillel, Jillian Juni, and Newhouse professor and former attorney Elliot Lewis. The event will be moderated by Remembrance scholar and Citrus TV's own Gabrielle Coracciolo. There were power outages across campus earlier today, including in this building here. That won't have an impact on tonight's event. It will go on as scheduled at 7 o'clock right here in Gifford Auditorium at HBC. Reporting live from Gifford, I'm Ford Hatchett, Citrus TV News.
And Remembrance Week continues. Byrd Library is displaying an exhibit called Mirror Me today. Visitors can scan a QR code and take a peek into the lives lost on Pan Am Flight 103. The goal is to show that the lives of students today are not all that different from 31 years ago. Orange alert message at 2 p.m. this afternoon to test the crisis notification system. The siren went off for 2 minutes and the message appeared on SU Facebook and Twitter accounts, as well as video monitors in common areas. DPS designed this system for immediate threats on campus to keep students and staff safe.
And the university's Pan Am Archives tomorrow will open up a portion of their collection to the community. Citrus TV reporter Ricky Sayer talked with the university's Pan Am archivist as well as SU faculty who remember what it was like on campus.
At Byrd Library, physical artifacts from the university's Pan Am 103 archive sit as a way to remember the lives lost 31 years ago. Vanessa St. Ogerman is the university's Pan Am archivist. She sometimes finds herself flipping through the pages of journals belonging to students who lost their lives.
So on November 13th, Sarah wrote, "It's Sunday. I wanted to write before I settled down to my work. I had a great weekend. On Thursday night, Lex and I went to Oxford by train."
The journal containing the hopes and dreams of Sarah Phillips. She's one of 35 Syracuse study abroad students who lost their lives when a terrorist bomb took down their jetliner.
And they're just your typical entries of an undergraduate student during her semester abroad. So things like assignments and new people that she was meeting.
This Thursday and Friday in Byrd, SU will open up their Pan Am archives as part of an exhibition. All year round, though, there are ways to find out what campus was like back in 1988. Professors still teaching, and some students have stuck around.
You did a great job. I'm so proud of you. This is the first of a tradition that we're going to start here. So,
Kelly Radowski is the Lockerbie Syracuse Scholars Liaison.
Back in 1988, I was a first-year student here at Syracuse University. I lived in Flint Hall. That's how I found out about it. I heard people talking about it, being upset about it.
It roiled the campus, of course. And then the response was remarkable.
David Bennett has been a Syracuse professor for over 50 years. he remembers exactly where he sat inside the Carrier Dome as thousands gathered to mourn the lives lost.
And now, may the sun be warm and kind to you. Your darkest night, some star shine through.
It struck me as though he were a father, and this was a father lamenting the loss of his own children.
Russian literature professor Pat Barak lost a student, Jason Coker, on the flight.
So the Monday before Pan Am 103, I had just received a holiday Christmas card from Jason talking about his wonderful ventures.
Barak has since superimposed Jason's picture on that postcard.
So the night of the tragedy, I went home, and I had a 4-year-old son at that time, and I sat in front of the television watching the names scroll on the television screen. I remember when their names appeared on the screen, I started crying, and my son just, Mommy, why are you crying?
Back at Byrd Library, the university is now working to record the oral histories of anyone who remembers.
As there are fewer people on campus who experienced that day, whether they knew someone who was on the flight personally or not, just that atmosphere here at the university.
It all underscores the importance of that journal and those photos, because people aren't forever, but their stories can be. Ricky Sayer, CitrusTV News.
Thanks, Ricky. And at least, today was a beautiful sunny day to be out on the quad and sitting in those seats and seeing those flags out there.
Right, the cold weather today, a small price to pay for the very nice weather we had today. Walker Simmons making his weather debut tonight. Walker, how's it looking outside?
Thanks, guys. It's actually looking really great walking into the studio today. It was a lot drier than yesterday, so that is a plus. Also, if you look at it right now, 53 with partial winds, so it is a little bit colder, Jack, as you mentioned. But as we head into the evening, that's expected to dip a little bit colder. As you can see, 46 degrees. And that's going to stay like that as we get into Thursday morning. For all those early risers, expect your mornings to start to look a lot like Thursday morning and more like a fall morning. With 10-mile-per-hour winds, it may say 47. It's going to feel a little bit colder with 42 degrees. And throughout the week and through the full-day forecast that I'll get into, you're going to be seeing a lot of clouds. The rain's not going away, but it is going to be gone for a little bit, so just expect some clouds throughout the week. And I'll get more into that in my full weather forecast. But back to you, Jack and Jenna.
All right, Walker, thank you. Vaping products can be turned in on National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day this Saturday. You just need to remove the batteries first. There will be disposal sites at most pharmacies in the Syracuse area. The closest to SU's campus is at the Kinney Drug Store in DeWitt. The day is intended to give Americans a safe and responsible way to throw away prescription drugs. Two candidates running for Onondaga County Executive took part in a heated exchange in a live debate today. Democrat Tony Malavenda and Republican Ryan McMahon hurled insults at each other during the debate, which was streamed live on Syracuse.com. Now, aside from the barbs, the two candidates discussed the future of I-81, combating slumlords, and whether the county should take control of Syracuse city parks. The election is on November 5th.
Winter is right around the corner, and the city of Syracuse is getting ready. On Monday, the Common Council approved a $250,000 plan to help clear snow off of about 76 miles worth of sidewalks in Syracuse. Citrus TV's Connor White spoke to the people responsible for battling the winter weather.
It's the middle of October. People walking around outside in Syracuse don't have much to worry about except for some leaves and maybe a gentle breeze. But as Syracuse residents know all too well, winter is coming. That's why Corey Driscoll Dunham, the Chief Operating Officer for the City of Syracuse, wanted to get ahead of the snow.
Pedestrian safety is a priority for this administration. We're one of the snowiest cities in the country, and for a long period of time we struggled with how to get sidewalks cleared of snow.
This is the equipment that will be used to help clear those sidewalks, but lucky for Syracuse residents, I'm not the one behind the wheel.
Put her down.
That would be these guys.
We're prepared to plow until the sidewalks are cleared.
The city is contracting JSK Snow Services to plow 76 miles worth of city sidewalks when it snows 3 inches or more. It may be hard work, but the company is no stranger to the elements.
It's definitely a big responsibility, but it's something we've done for a long time for a lot of private industries, and we're very confident that we can provide an excellent service for the city.
To help keep sidewalks clear, they have some new equipment. They're also planning on making some new local hires, but most importantly, they bring a can-do attitude.
Being a plow company in one of the snowiest cities in America obviously isn't an easy job. What gets you guys out to be able to face that kind of challenge?
We like the challenge. We like to take on challenges, and fighting Mother Nature is a large challenge.
The program is set to start on November 15th and will last until April 15th of next year.
Connor White, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Connor. I-690 is clear after a tractor-trailer crash shut the road down early this morning. Officers say the tractor-trailer was traveling westbound when it went into a ditch just after 1 a.m. All lanes on the highway were closed at one point. Crews cleared the scene soon after, and the lanes reopened around 6 in the morning. Officials are investigating the death of a West Point cadet who was found dead on the grounds of the U.S. Military Academy yesterday morning. The cadet was missing since Friday after not showing up to a competition at the academy. A report says an M4 rifle was also missing. The academy says they do not suspect foul play.
Coming up next, the surprising stunt by congressional Republicans, the latest details from Washington as the impeachment inquiry continues.
And the ceasefire in Turkey, new today, the president's big policy decision. Stay with us.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
You're watching CitrusTV News with Jack Watson, Jenna Bree, Nicole Weaving, and Ricky Sayer. CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Republican lawmakers left a private deposition on Capitol Hill this afternoon after holding that deposition back for 5 hours.
About 20 members of Congress stormed the deposition of Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary Laura Cooper in a political protest against the impeachment inquiry. They left for a floor vote earlier today, and the deposition began a few hours ago.
The group of lawmakers wanted to see the deposition as it happened. And also in Washington today, we have more on that testimony from Bill Taylor. President Trump claimed Ukraine did not know about the aid freeze, but today we're learning Taylor said Ukraine officials did know about it before Trump's demand.
The testimony contrasts what the president initially said about the phone call. It supports the whistleblower report on Trump's call with Ukraine's president, in which he asked for a favor in return for military aid. The testimony also challenges Trump's claims that there was no quid pro quo in his dealings with Ukraine.
And two Florida businessmen who were accused of illegally funneling money to a pro-Trump election group are pleading not guilty.
The two helped Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, investigate Joe Biden and face charges of donating more than $300,000 through a shell company.
The two have also been accused of raising money for former Texas Congressman Pete Sessions in an effort to remove the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine.
Google says they have started working on the first quantum computer. The tech giant says the machine needs only 3.5 minutes to solve a problem that a classic computer would take 10,000 years to complete.
Now, Google says they're eager to move ahead with the project and will start building as soon as resources become available.
The latest out of Washington, President Trump says he is lifting all sanctions against Turkey. That announcement coming a week after the U.S. imposed sanctions on Turkey for its military attacks on Syrian Kurds.
Vice President Mike Pence foreshadowed the move a week ago when he said the president would lift all sanctions once a permanent ceasefire had been reached. Trump commended President Erdogan for doing what he believes is, quote, the right thing for his country.
To the United Kingdom now, officials are investigating why about 40 bodies were found in a truck there. They arrested a suspect who is reportedly a man from Northern Ireland.
Now, police in the southeast English county of Essex say the container moved in from overnight from Belgium. The bodies were discovered around 1 in the morning there.
The incident caught the attention of the UN Secretary General, who says those responsible must be brought to justice.
And to Hong Kong now, where protesters formed a chain around the British consulate in that territory.
The Associated Press says the protesters are hoping to get support from the region's former colonial ruler as they continue to fight for more democratic rights.
Now, many were seen waving British flags and singing God Save the Queen as they filled the streets surrounding the consulate.
The commander of the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces tweeted a public thank you to President Donald Trump. The commander thanked the president for stopping the brutal Turkish attack and jihadist groups and our people, and for lifting all sanctions on Turkey.
Trump says he will maintain his partnership with the SDF and provide support where it's needed. The president says America will continue to conduct operations against the Islamic State group in Iraq. Iraq's military has said that those U.S. troops leaving Syria are not permitted to keep troops in Iraq and have 4 weeks to leave the country. To Israel now, where Israel's president is tasking Blue and White Party leader Benny Gantz to form the next government.
It comes after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu failed to form a new coalition. Blue and White's negotiation team presented the party's efforts to the president. The party's goal is to create a liberal government.
After the meeting, the Israeli president gave Gantz a 28-day deadline to form the coalition. If this attempt also fails, any lawmaker backed with a majority can try again.
And there was a colder start to this week with some rain, but I've got some good news. Stay tuned to get a full idea of how your week will pan out.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader. From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
All right, now as you talked about earlier in the show, there was a colder start going into Thursday, but as it pans out, the weather gets a lot nicer for Thursday. A great day to go outside. It is partially cloudy, but winds stay low between 5 to 10 miles per hour, so nothing serious there. And as we head and take a step back and look across the board here, Syracuse is actually enjoying some of the high 60s, as well as Ithaca peaking up into 64. However, just around, geographically, it stays around mid-50s. As you can see, Rochester, Penyan, 56, even 58 in Emerald. So temperatures are staying great across the board. It's looking great. But as we take a look at the full weather forecast on the week, Thursday, as I said, great high is 62. But as we get into Friday, expect some colder temperatures, 53 to 37. So we're getting into the 30s, the fall weather. Saturday is looking great. And that's kind of the best spot if you're wanting to go outside this weekend. That would be the best time to do it, because as we head into Sunday, 59 degrees. However, we do have a lot of rain. And then Monday, just another cloudy Monday. So the week's looking great from Thursday to Saturday. You want to enjoy that and get into the fall weather. That is all I have you. Corey, what do we have in sports?
Well, Walker, it's time to start biting your nails if you're an SU football supporter, but the team is remaining level-headed entering the matchup with Florida State. Plus, we'll let you know who came from behind to take Game 1 of the World Series. That's next after the break.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Midweek for Syracuse football, and the Orange seeking a return to the win column for the first time since September. Good evening, I'm Corey Spector. SU has been this close the past 2 games, 2 defeats, each by a single touchdown margin. So yeah, Syracuse is 3-4, more losses through 7 games this season as opposed to the entirety of last year. But an entire overhaul, that's certainly not the approach right now.
You know, last week isn't everything. We need to move on and take advantage of the rest of the games on the schedule.
We hungry, man. Every week, the biggest thing we want to do is win, you know. Every week, week in, week out, we just coming out to play better and better. And we know the more we play together, the more repetition, the better it'll come together.
I feel like the biggest thing is going into the game, understanding that we have to play 4 full quarters, which is not easy, especially in just college football, week in and week out. But I think we could do it this week.
Competing at the team's best for 60 full minutes. That's something the Orange haven't accomplished in those past 2 losses. SU has faced double-digit deficits at halftime, both against NC State and Pittsburgh, in addition to Syracuse's first 2 losses of the season against Maryland and Clemson. Another difficult road assignment for the Cuse on Saturday. SU squares off against a fellow 3-4 squad, Florida State. A late addition to the Syracuse men's soccer schedule last night. After the matchup between SU and Albany on October 1st was canceled due to thunderstorms, Ian McIntyre's squad agreed to hook up with SUNY Morrisville at SU Soccer Stadium. So one side from the ACC, the other team from the mighty Division III. Well, it pretty much went out how you'd expect. The Orange cruised to an 11-0 drubbing over the Mustangs. SU sets a program record for the most goals scored in a single game. Ryan Raposo tacked on 3 more tallies to his team lead 11 goals on the season, while teammate Massimo Ferrin registered a hat-trick as well. Syracuse has now claimed victory in 3 of the past 4 contests. Next up, SU hosts NC State for Senior Day at SU Soccer Stadium. And as the leaves continue to change, the wind picks up. That means the Fall Classic is here. Game 1 of the World Series last night from Minute Maid Park between the Astros and the visiting Nationals. Washington trailed 2-1 in the 4th inning when Juan Soto, he's up to bat. He explodes off Garrett Cole. The 20-year-old's 3rd home run of the postseason knots the game up at 2 apiece. Later in the 5th, Nats on top 3-2. Soto at the dish. He rakes this one off the wall, plates 2 runners. The Nationals take a 5-2 lead at this point, and Washington holds on to win Game 1 5-4. The series resumes with Game 2 this evening. Another stellar pitching duel. Justin Verlander gets the ball for the Astros. The 8-time All-Star recorded 21 wins this season. Not too shabby on the other side as well. In 4 playoff starts, Steven Strasburg is 3-0 for the Nats with only 4 earned runs allowed. First pitch from H-Town is scheduled for after 8. And night number 2 in the NBA, 22 more teams playing their first regular season game this evening, including the Nets and the Knicks. Brooklyn unveils its shiny new free agent acquisition, Kyrie Irving, tonight at the Barclays Center when the Nets welcome in the Timberwolves. Kenny Atkinson looks to lead Brooklyn back to the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. The Knicks, though, searching for their first postseason appearance since 2013. New York rodeos down to San Antonio tonight. Prize free agent Julius Randle makes his Knicks debut, while R.J. Barrett gets onto the NBA hardwood for the first time tonight.
All right, our sports reporter Corey Spector. Feels great to have basketball back, Corey.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Coming up, we'll have one last look at your weather. Stay tuned.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Citrus TV weather anchor Walker Simmons joins us again. Walker, what should I wear tomorrow morning?
Well, as mentioned before, heading into tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little bit colder, so you're going to want to pack layers, but you might want to just carry that around with you because as we get into the evening and towards the end of the night, it'll cool out.
And just very quickly, what's it going to be like over the weekend?
Over the weekend, going into Friday, Saturday, it'll be a little bit warmer. We're going to see some clouds here and there. Sunday, do expect rain, about 70% chance of rain there, so pack an umbrella for sure.
All right, Walker, not looking forward to that rain, but thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. You can find even more on our Facebook and Twitter pages at CitrusTV News. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Jenna Bree. Have a great evening, Syracuse.